Welcome to Life at a Glance podcast. I'm so happy that you are joining me this morning. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different episode. And the episode is around planning, but we're specifically we're in summer mode. And so, what I'm trying to do is to help prevent the September scramble. So, a little bit of backstory. I do a Plan With Me live once a month, and I'm streaming those now over on YouTube. And so this was scheduled, and apparently this was a really, really popular topic. And the juicy little tidbits that we're going to go over here in just a second, because what ended up happening is I went live, it was streaming, I could see people were joining me. So I dive right in because, I like to respect your time. And I started sharing my slides, and we went through it. And then I stopped and I looked and I was like, oh my goodness, look at the chat, it blew up. I was really excited, but then people were on there waiting for me, they could not see me. Now I know that I have tech hiccups. I will say that I have tech hiccups, but I will also say that I did, when I stopped the stream, it recorded. And so I really feel like there was a YouTube tech hiccup. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is the community, there were messages in the community. My DMs blew up. I got several emails. I got several, help me, Rhonda. I didn't see you. I was waiting for you and I really wanted this session. And I was like, don't you worry, because I'm going to make it right. So today we are going to be talking about the Plan With Me Live Rhonda version, but this is specifically kind of when we are still in summer mode and to help us transition into fall mode. And so let's go ahead and we're going to dive right in. So if you're listening on the podcast, I love it that you're here. There is a slide version if you want to see the slides. I'm going to be talking about what's on the slides here so you can listen. But over on YouTube, you'll also be able to see me kind of walk through the slides. All right. So here is what we're going to be covering. I feel like this is a Plan With Me, Rhonda fall version, right? Or fall edition. So we're going to talk about how to set up flexible routines. And I really want to stress routines here that work with your summer, not against it. So I really think that there is a lot of conflict between business and life. And I specifically really want to dive into the routine part here. My go-to system for tracking summer goals without a ton of extra work, raise your hand, I'm here for that. The one thing you can do each week to avoid the September scramble, right? So that's we're transitioning. And as we go into September, that I call Q4 is all around holiday hangover. When we hit Halloween, and then there's Thanksgiving, and then there's Christmas, and then there's New Year's, there's so much that happens in there. And then quick tips to capture those ideas, those opportunities, and wins as they pop up. So we're all going for that dopamine hit. So let's just dive right in. How to set a simple, flexible routine. So I really want us to think in terms of building the routine around your real life. And here's what I mean by that. I think when we talk about planning inside of our business, we think about it and it's as if we are checking into a brick and mortar, like a bank, where we're going in 9 to 5. And that really is a recipe for disaster. And here's why. Is that if we created more of a routine around our life and fit our business in there, I feel like we would be so much happier, because we can kind of control the business. What we can't control necessarily is life. There is a structure and a framework that we have. We get up in the morning, we have our morning routine. Hopefully you're looking at your daily 3, you're accomplishing those tasks, but what seeps in there and what is the disruptor is life. Life is the disruptor of all of the things that, you have planned for your business. And those things, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be put at the bottom of the list, and you're going to take care of the immediate fire and put that out, right? And so then there is that conflict of, and I don't believe in a work-life balance, but there is a struggle between the two, and we carry that struggle around, and we always feel like we can't get things done, and we have so much to do. Friends, let's just go ahead and write that permission slip. You're never going to get everything done. I don't care how many hours you work in the day. There are always, always, always areas of opportunity, and always things that you are going to have to do, both in life and business, right? So we're going to start with those non-negotiables as we're planning our routine. So think about vacations. I mean, let's put that number one. Camps, client meetings, that work. So like that's the non-negotiable for our week, okay? And you work your routines around them, not the other way around. All right. So, what are your non negotiables during your week? You could pull out your planner right now and you literally could block what's happening. And I think that when we look at the non negotiables and we put those on the calendar, those are our starting blocks. And then when we see those starting blocks, now we can start to fill in. And friends, I think summer for whatever reason gives us this permission, like all of the things that we pile on our plate, for whatever reason in summer it's like, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I don't have time for it. No, no, no. It's so much easier because we are running towards that linen dress flip-flop season. We want the relaxed. And so if we build routine around your real life first, I think there's going to be less conflict. And I don't think that we give enough weight to all of the micro decisions that we're making every single day, whether it is in life or is in our business. That also weighs us down. So I just want you to start to recognize those. Number two, pick 1 to 2 daily anchors. And so those daily anchors are things like your morning routine. I never tell you, I've never said, do your 7-figure daily routine. Think about that daily routine. Like I can't emphasize it enough, but your routine is your normal habit. And friends, we will stay in our routine, even though like sometimes that routine, it can be painful in that it's not serving us, but we will stay there until something is a trigger that happens that gets us out of that. So your routine is extremely powerful. And those anchors that I recommend, always starting with your morning routine, that 3 to 5, those 3 to 5 things that you do each and every day. Mine change depending on the season. Maybe Daniel is deployed and I'm not making his lunch. That's part of my morning routine. But that kind of, it gets me up, and that is the purpose. That's the first thing that I do. And I really enjoy the morning routine, and it kind of gets my mind right and gets me focused for the day. Check-ins throughout the day are great anchors as well. And so maybe you're looking at your daily 3. You've done your morning routine, you're looking at your daily 3. When it comes to lunchtime, just a check-in. How am I doing? Do I need to make any adjustments because life has happened? And then finally, here we go. Embrace flexibility over perfection. Give yourself permission to adapt routines as needed. We are so rigid in our business that when life is happening, that rigidity inside of our business, that's where that conflict lies. And if we start with our life and tap into our routines and then pull in business, you're only going to be focusing on really those things that matter inside of your business. Those are your revenue routines. For me, throughout my life, obviously, like as humans, like our experiences shape us. And the time when my son was diagnosed with that benign brain tumor, that shaped a lot of things. And so a lot of excess that I was doing in my business because I thought I should, immediately like wiped that off the slate. And I only had time to focus on very specific tasks. And those specific tasks had to have an end result, which was revenue inside of the business. And those tasks could be, what does the customer journey look like when they purchase? What does my product look like? How can I help my customer get better results, faster results? So it's not about like the end result is money, but the things that I'm focusing on enhance that, and money is the byproduct of that. Okay. Rhonda's go-to system for tracking summer goals. So let's take a look at this. So I like using a weekly snapshot. So for you, like to relax during the summer, instead of daily checklist, like what are your 1 to 3 summer goals each week? And review that progress every Sunday night. So the way that we go into, in my house, the way that we go into the weekend, I'm just going to give you an example so you can adjust and customize this for yourself, right? So I have my normal week. I have my, my non-negotiables. I have my daily 3. I have my end of the week. Like these are the things that I want to accomplish, right? And all of those are, I would say, like your 30-day sprints, and 30-day sprints support your 90-day goal, right? Personally, for weekends, like we have a lot to do here. Since the tree went through the house, life has been completely disrupted. And so there are a lot of things that Daniel and I, even as empty nesters, here to kind of keep the property going and things that we need to accomplish. All I do is I take out a sticky note. And this is the only time that I put a whole bunch of stuff on one sticky note, okay? I list the things that we need to do over the weekend. And it takes less than a minute. I will be sipping on my coffee. I do this either Friday or on Saturday, and I just jot the things down. And I will take a quick minute on Saturday evening. Where are we? Things that we didn't get done, I'll push those to Sunday. 9 times out of 10, 100% completion. And it's just very simple off the top of my head. Here are the things that I know we need to get done this weekend. And so I want you to visually start mapping things out for yourself. And it can be as simple as a sticky note. I will go down preaching the sticky note. It's just a way to get it out of your head and to visually see the things that you need to do. And I know you've done this, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. You've put something on your to-do list that you've already done just so you can mark it out. Y'all, you're chasing dopamine. That dopamine hit of like, I've accomplished something. When I am stressed out and I can't get from point A to point B, do you know what I do? I vacuum. I told my family, it's like, when you see me vacuuming, that means that I need to see a result of the action that I have just taken because I'm going after the dopamine hit, right? So I think that's pretty funny. Keep it visible. So post those goals. Like for the weekend, I will just have them on my counter, but they're there right where near my coffee. So I know exactly where to go. They're near where the keys are. Keep it visible. You can translate this again into bigger goals. You can translate this into a 30-day sprint. You can have that goal, that same goal, it's on your nightstand. You can have the goal in the bathroom. You can have the goal by the coffee pot. You can have the goal in your car. Where do you frequent? Where do you need to see this as a reminder? And I gotta say, like, this is also just a really great strategy for accountability. It's a great strategy so that you don't sabotage yourself. It's funny now, this year I've really focused a lot and working with my ads coach. Like sometimes I'll come to him and I'll say, okay, I want to do this and I'm asking you this, but with a caveat here that I potentially am sabotaging myself. So I'm giving you permission to tell me, Rhonda, don't do that. And so I'm recognizing that more and more. It really is doing less and focusing on like just a small portion, like a small task. And really just, that's the winner. And if I'm being honest, like I did that for 17 years with my seasonal event. It was the same thing every 6 months. We just would improve one thing and would make it a little bit easier to run that massive event. And it was wildly successful. Consistently, like clockwork, we could generate $500,000 in sales in 8 days a year. Consistently. So you don't have to focus on a whole bunch of things, all right? All right. Celebrate the micro wins. Any progress, no matter how small, is progress. I'm living this right now with the house. And I'm not even saying it's not a renovation, it's a rebuild. I'm thankful that it has gone the way that it has because there are so many decisions that need to be made. It is really difficult. If you've ever done this, you know, I never thought that I would be this point in my life, like just packing everything up. Now, when you move, like, you know, like you go through all of the stuff, right? For the kids' rooms, I did not anticipate that I would be packing everything up. And as we're rebuilding, that I would change things. And I'm changing the house, yes, for the kids to come home. Yes, they have their rooms, but the things that we're changing are really more for Daniel and I. So I took the boys' room and cut it. I cut it in half. And now I'm moving my office from the barn into the house. But now we're moving our workout equipment. We actually have a dedicated space for that. And I don't know, like having like not being forced into making decisions like really, really quick, having to do all of the things really, really quick, but making very small intentional decisions. And, you know, one day I walked in and the electrician had been in there. And for whatever reason, the pantry light was on. And y'all, I cried. The pantry light was on. It had not been on in 6 months. And so I went to the door because I saw the light and I opened the door. And I have an old fashioned string that we pull. I love that string that we pull for that light. And I just looked in my pantry and I stood there and I cried. I was so excited because I hadn't had power in that part of the house since September 27th. And so I just turned it off and I went over to my electrician and I said, "Thank you so much for helping me." Celebrate those wins. Celebrate the light in the pantry. Really, really quickly, microwave minute. I want to talk about this for just a second when we're tracking summer goals. And this probably should be on the previous slide, but it's okay. We're going to put it here. Microwave minute. There are things that you need to do that will literally just take you a minute. I know that you probably held up your finger and said, "That'll just take me a second or I'll be there in a minute." And you're not doing them. You're letting them accumulate. So what would take you a minute, eventually all of those minute tasks are going to take you 45 minutes. I want you to go ahead and I want you to get those tasks done. If it's a microwave minute task, I literally want you to do it and be done with it. Because what you don't realize is the weight of the microwave minute task. I'm really just very hypersensitive for you because of what I experience here. And it's just so much easier to get it done and just not even think about it anymore. And I think like sometimes we like to accumulate tasks just so we can be busy or we can be doing things. But I like the contractors because it's like, okay, just tell me what you want to do so we can do it and we're done and we're out of here. Okay. Microwave minute tasks. Don't let those pile up on you. All right. One thing you can do each week to avoid September scramble. So let's go. So this is all about Future Me Friday. Don't you love that Future Me Friday? Take 10 minutes each week to review what's coming up in September. Think about that. We are doing a lot of that right now. Thomas is going back in August. Jack goes to a different school in August. Like, what are those future plans? What are the weeks look like so that you can get them on the calendar now and they don't run over you? You control them. So take 10 minutes each week to review what's coming up in September, school, business deadlines, events, and make one prep move. One prep move, like ordering supplies or updating your calendar, whatever that is. But that is going to be a huge, huge leap and sprint so that you don't feel overwhelmed. I want to talk just here about batching the boring stuff. I was very cautious in putting this in here or not putting this in here. Like I had a debate with myself. Do I want to group together little admin tasks and tackle one batch each week so nothing piles up? So let's talk just about batching. I think that people like the idea of batching because batching is associated with saving time. But then batching is also associated with taking time. So it's kind of that double-edged sword. You should not batch tasks unless you have systems down. If you don't have a system for that task, you should not batch it. It makes no sense. Recently, I do a member video. I do those every single week, and I do a podcast episode. The podcast is then repurposed. So we've got the YouTube video and there's the podcast. And my non-negotiable for Thursday, when I close the business down, is that like it's scheduled out and it's done. It does not take me very long. As far as team goes, it's me and Heather. And so this is what I do, and I enjoy doing it. I've had people that have done all of that stuff for me in the past. And it's almost like I did clean the house before the cleaning lady came. And as I was doing it and creating all of the things, I really felt like I'm like, I could do this so much faster than like doing it and da 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 da. Anyway, so I do all of those tasks myself. And now that I'm focused just on a very few things, like very, very few things. Sorry, I don't know why my notifications are going off. I thought, let me just try this because I have done this when vacation happens or holiday happens. I'll go ahead and batch. So, what does that mean? I will record the weekly videos. There is a theme to those. I am very intentional when I do them. And then I will record the podcast. And I was like, okay, well, since I'm streamlining everything and everything is like, we're in a really, really good place right now. Why don't I record a podcast and an email video each day that I work? And so right now I'm doing one on Monday because I have an ads call on Monday. So I just do that. I feel like I'm getting ahead. So I do 4 a week, 4 videos to my members, right? And 4 podcast episodes, i.e., YouTube videos. Think about that. 1 week is 1 month. What? How much time are you getting back? And it's okay if something happens during that day that I'm supposed to record the video for my members and the podcast episode because I'm so far ahead. And I could be flexible. We've already talked about that in an earlier slide. But the only reason that I'm doing that is because I had a system that was down. It probably takes me an hour to do all of that. And so if I do 4 in 1 week, then that's 1 month. I could do a month and be what? 4 months in and have it done. And then what am I going to do with that time? I'm going to punch needle. Of course I'm going to punch needle. Actually, I need to do more with my exercise, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm really feeling like I need to gain some time to do that. So don't batch until you have a system for it. If you have a system for it, then batch to your little heart's content. But don't feel behind if you don't. Reflect and adjust. Use this weekly time to check out what's working, spot any gaps, and make quick tweaks. Your fall self will thank you. So this is, each month, monthly questions. Like, I'm asking you to reflect, what was your goal? Did you achieve it? Yes or no? If you did, what were the results of that? What did you learn? What do you want to keep doing? What do you not want to keep doing? If you did not achieve it, why? Were you not consistent? Like, be honest with yourself. That helps with your planning. Those little small modifications, no one can do that for you. That is your IP. That is you. That is your magic sauce. And if you are not tapping into it, you are missing just a huge, huge opportunity when it comes to your planning. Really quickly, I want to round things out here with quick tips to capture ideas, opportunities, and wins as they pop up. Keep us on the wins list. Like, days that are really, really good and, sales are just like pouring in. I mean, those are fantastic. You're not going to look at those. But days that just feel like crap and that you are in quicksand and this online business thing is not working, you need those. And I am so thankful to you, my community, because you know what? You always show up for me when I'm not having a very good day. Like, I will get it and I am like, oh, I'm having a great day today. And even like when you're having those amazing days and someone messages you, like Nicole, she messaged today. I'm like, it wasn't so she was sharing how she really is enjoying Low Ticket Designer. And she talks about the product, but the thing that got me was at the end where she said, I love how you teach. It matches my brain. But more importantly, you make me feel included. That, that, that is why I do what I do, to connect with amazing souls like Nicole. Voice memos on the go. Record quick voice notes. You can have Otter like transcribe it, like zap it over to chat. Talk with chat. Like have a chat that you are like specific, like for voice memos of ideas and things. And then do a Friday recap. So all of this right here, this could be so automated and so fun and amazing. But what I'm just trying to let you do here and allow you to do here is to stop and recognize your win, not just to keep going. I was out walking with my husband and I had done something and I was like, I am so excited. Blah, blah, blah. And he didn't realize how significant that was. He's like, that's great. You know how significant that. And I, he is my biggest fan. He is my biggest supporter. So but I just had to give them a little bit more context. So celebrate your wins. So the key to success, I'm going to share it here, is the monthly questions. You got to do that. That is your IP. Um, if you're not doing that, again, you're missing a huge opportunity. And your implementation guide is map it out, implement, and evaluate. It is 3 steps. Are they simple? They're simple. Is it easy? Maybe not. If you've never done it, you're going to go through it and you're going to be like, am I doing it right? This doesn't feel right. It feels weird because I'm by myself and I don't have a team member. It's okay. Map it, implement, and evaluate. These 3 steps are like the only way that you can be running your business, right? Um, Running your business, and basically what you're doing here is you're collecting data to make a logical, informed decision instead of emotional decision and keeping things in your head. So here's what we've covered: how to set up a flexible routine that works with your summer, not against it, my go-to system for tracking goals without a ton of extra work, and the one thing that you can do each week to avoid the September scramble. So thank you so much for joining me on the Plan With Me Live. And this is just a special episode here on the podcast. If you've been watching on YouTube, I am happy that you can watch on YouTube. I think I'm going to be doing more Plan With Me lives like this. And hopefully the tech will agree with me next month as we transition into back to business. So I recommend pick one thing from what we've talked about today and go out and implement it. All right, take care. We'll talk soon.